Right now, let's go to the Wise Lines. Ian Casselberry standing by for our NFL Gold Nuggets feature presented by David Kreisman and his fabulous staff at DC Kreisman Jewelers. Ian, great to have you in, buddy, and I hope you're not floating away on us.
I live rather close to the Swananoa River. I mean, we're fine, but yeah, it's hard not to notice how much higher the river is today.
Oh my goodness! I've seen some pictures. It's a little scary out there for sure. By the way, I wanted to kick off with a quick baseball headline here. I want to get your thoughts quickly on this. Some baseball business to handle. And Ian, what's the new development in the Red Sox-Dodgers deal that sent Betts and Price to L.A., and will it impact the trade?
It could impact the trade. The question now is pitching prospect that went to the Red Sox, Brosdar Graterol. The team apparently looked at his medical records and was a little bit spooked by what they saw. Graterol, 21 years old, he had Tommy John surgery in 2015, and he missed some time last season with a shoulder injury. Looking at some scouting reports, there's some thought, too, that maybe his delivery is kind of problematic. He doesn't use his legs a whole lot in his delivery, mostly his arms, so maybe that's putting more pressure on his elbow and his shoulder. But Graterol came from the Twins in this three-team deal, so some of the possibilities if Graterol ends up not going to the Red Sox, maybe the Twins could get cut out of that part of the deal, and then it's just between the Red Sox and the Dodgers. But the Dodgers also sent Kenta Maeda to the Twins as part of this deal. Would Maeda go then to the Red Sox, who they're trying to save money? Maeda's not expensive for a major league pitcher. He is going to make $3 million a year over the next 4 years, but that might be more than the Red Sox want to take on as they try to reduce payroll. I mean, obviously, Maeda, $3 million a year, that's more than Graterol would make, that Alex Verdugo would make. The Dodgers could also agree to take on more money to pay more of David Price's contract than was originally agreed upon in the deal. It was originally about half-half. The Red Sox would pay half of the $96 million owed to Price. The Dodgers may end up taking on more of that if the Red Sox don't like the prospects that they're getting in return. And then one other thing, this might affect the other deal that the Dodgers made with the Angels. And because, if Mookie Betts ends up not going to the Dodgers might want Jock Peterson back, who they traded to clear a spot for Mookie Betts. That's probably not going to happen, but, there are a lot of moving parts in this deal. So if it does fall through, there are a lot of factors to consider.
Wow, Michael. Holy cow, man.
Sure is. Ian, everybody's pretty much penciled the Dodgers in to the World Series, but I'm a little wondering about their starting pitching. Clayton Kershaw's not quite the big game pitcher he once was, as he showed in the playoffs. Obviously, Buehler is awesome, but that starting pitching, Price, sometimes the price has been wrong when he's been out there. Do you think Dodger fans should be just a little concerned with that starting pitching and that bullpen a little bit?
I think they should definitely be concerned with Kershaw. Is he wearing down? Are all those innings starting to catch up with him? Of course, he's had throughout his career problems in the postseason. I think I would lean more toward the Dodgers doing well just purely out of depth. I mean, they're one of the few teams that can actually field a five-man rotation at this point in the season. They also still have a very deep minor league organization, even with trading Alex Verdugo to the Red Sox. There are plenty of prospects that the Dodgers could trade mid-season at the deadline to try to get more starting pitching help. And again, adding Mookie Betts to that lineup, I think it's a significant upgrade over Jock Peterson, even if it's just for a one-year term.
All right. Again, stand by. We'll see where this one goes, but there's a bit of a holdup, and it could impact things. I bet you it's going to go through, but it could be on different terms moving forward. All right, let's get to some NFL action, guys. And it looks like Browns general manager Andrew Berry, who, by the way, 32, youngest GM in the league, not much older than most of the team he's overseeing, by the way, met with problem children Odell Beckham Jr. and Kareem Hunt about recent incidents. Now, Ian, tell us why Berry felt the need to call the kids into the principal's office.
Yeah, this is exactly what this is, being called to the principal's office. Kareem Hunt, earlier this year, was pulled over for speeding. He had marijuana in his car, and later, I think in a radio interview, Hunt admitted that he would have failed a drug test had he been asked to take one. There was also some vodka found in the car. This was already problematic with Hunt, coming off that 8-game personal conduct suspension. The Browns took a lot of criticism for signing Kareem Hunt to begin with after he was released by the Browns. So I think this was Barry and owner Jimmy Haslam just trying to lay out expectations, trying to establish a better culture with the team. This also applies to Odell Beckham Jr. You know, for the arrest warrant he faced in New Orleans for simple battery, harassing a police officer. But, you know, he also had, he didn't have a good season. He didn't play very well. He fought hip and groin injuries. There was that incident where he was fined for wearing a watch on the field. So I think this is Andrew Berry's attempt, along with Jimmy Haslam, to, you know, establishing a culture is such a popular term right now in team sports. And this is Andrew Berry's attempt to hold all of his players accountable, to make sure that there's a standard being held there. The former general manager, John Dorsey, he seemed not to care as much about character and how players would fit together in a team as opposed to just collecting talent. Notably, Dorsey drafted Antonio Callaway after he was suspended his senior year at Florida. He flunked a drug test at the NFL Combine, and Dorsey still drafted him, thinking, you know, he was a tremendous talent at wide receiver. You know, imagine the Patriots and Bill Belichick doing something like that. That probably wouldn't happen. So I think Andrew Berry may be taking a little bit of a shot at his predecessor, John Dorsey, saying they're concentrating on building a team, not just collecting talent.
All right. Well, there you go, Mike. Or I think an impressive move by the young guy, right? I mean, heck yeah, man. Sometimes you just got to go there and set out those parameters early on so there's no surprises. And it sounds like Andrew Berry is kind of laying it out right now as we speak. We'll see where that one goes.
I guess if you're a Browns fan and you're driving throughout the interstate, make sure you stop at a Pilot gas station and just fill your car up to help because the Browns owner owns all those Pilots. So I think to help the Browns.
I think Browns fans, at this point, you're just going to drive right past the Pilot stores. Take that, Haslam. Ian Casselberry with the Wise Guys, presented by DC Creasman Jewelers. Guys, the Patriots reportedly are prepared to offer Tom Brady $30 million a year. I'm not sure. I know it's for 1 year. I'm wondering if it's for 2 years. But you know, that's Kirk Cousins' money. Ian, are the Patriots going cheap on Brady considering the market?
Well, $30 million a year would be a top 7 quarterback salary, as you mentioned, Kirk Cousins type money. My guess is it would be a 1-year deal, maybe with a club or a mutual option for a second year, depending on how things go. Brady might want that option as well because, as we're going to talk about, I think he needs to see a little more from Bill Belichick and the Patriots front office as to what sort of offense they're going to build around him. Reportedly, though, if the Patriots aren't willing to meet that $30 million a year price, the Raiders and the Chargers are 2 teams that are both interested. I don't know if they're interested in that price. Also reportedly important to Brady is not just the money, which is the overriding factor, but you know, Brady's got that TB12 facility and workout regimen and all that set up in New England already. If he goes to another team, he would want that set up as well. Both the Raiders and Chargers dealing with new stadiums, so might be better able to accommodate whatever Brady might want in that area than other teams that might be interested in him.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Michael, is he wants the Patriots. He wants Belichick and the team to surround him with better talent at the receiver position, but Belichick, being Belichick, doesn't want to spend a whole lot for good talent. So, you know, this is no guarantee where Tom Brady's going to go right now.
You know, I've just
as a Bills fan too, right? That impacts you, buddy.
Yes, no, and as a Bills fan, I want him to stay. I want to beat him a couple of times before he retires, and he has an incredible record versus the Bills. I mean, he's got a great record versus a lot of teams, but the Bills, it's just stunning. Like in games played at New Era Field where the Bills play and stuff, he is 3rd all time in wins behind Jim Kelly, Joe Ferguson, and he's 3rd, which tells you about the Bills' quarterback situation the past few years. They never had it, but that's how many times. So I want him to stay. I really do, and I just can't. I think Kraft will get involved. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo's a 49er because Tom Brady didn't want him there,
exactly,
and stuff. So I just got to believe Mr. Kraft's going to get involved and say no. I mean, you're old enough to remember when Johnny Unitas played in powder blue San Diego Charger uniforms, so anything is possible. Joe Montana played for the Chiefs. anything's possible. And I just got to believe Tom Brady's going to be a Patriot when all's said and done.
All right, we'll see where it goes. Ian's running it down for us, and let's go on to Antonio Brown. Mike and I opened the show briefly, but we wanted to say a lot for the segment here, Ian. And, of course, Antonio Brown's apology tour continues, and in the past week has apologized to the NFL, to the Steelers, and as I was telling Michael earlier, I guess the Raiders are up next. But, Ian, here we go again. These apologies just smell forced to me. Will NFL teams buy them?
I don't think they will. You said that this felt forced. I think this very much comes across as Antonio Brown saying what he thinks other teams want to hear. He apologized to the Steelers organization, yet he did not apologize individually to Ben Roethlisberger or Juju Smith-Schuster, Coach Mike Tomlin, or the owner, Art Rooney II, all of whom he insulted or took shots at on social media. So how sincere is that apology really? I mean, apologizing to the Steelers organization, maybe that shouldn't be overlooked, but I think you do have to question the sincerity of it if he's not really holding himself accountable for, what he said and his behavior. You remember he sat out, or I think he was suspended for the final game of the 2018 season because he got into a spat with Roethlisberger in practice. So apologizing to the Steelers, apologizing to the NFL, apologizing to the Hollywood, Florida Police Department. All of this sounds good, but I think you do have to wonder if Antonio Brown is just telling people what they want to hear. But I think ultimately NFL teams are mostly concerned with this investigation under the personal conduct policy. Are these lawsuits for sexual assault still pending? Where are those going to end up? If nobody wants to be taken by surprise like the Patriots were after they signed Antonio Brown, and then there's this lawsuit here and something that could risk a suspension or arrest.
Mike, and this is interesting. That's kind of where I just felt like Antonio Brown, and I just think a guy like him, he knows when to turn on the charm. He knows when to not turn on the charm. And I just feel like this is a way, I think Ian hate it. It's just, I think he's looking and saying what needs to be said just to get back at it. And who knows what's going to happen once he gets back at it.
You're probably right. And Ian, I agree with Ian too, but as I've said, if he's going to get back to the NFL, this is the first step. He has to do this, sincere or not. He has to at least apologize, and we'll just see what happens. We'll see if he can back it up. I mean, this is the first step that he has to take. And now there's a bunch of more steps I think that has to happen for him to play in the NFL. And like I said, when you have a dwindling bank account and all of a sudden you can't you can't afford those 8 houses anymore, those 10 cars and stuff, all of a sudden
those lawsuits for assaulting moving van drivers.
Exactly, all of a sudden
it's not cheap.
It's not cheap, and also you'd be surprised what you can all of a sudden do. How humble you can suddenly become. So I'm not disagreeing with you, Pat. I'm just saying if he does come back, this is the first step. Man,
we'll see where it goes. I'll tell you what, Michael, if Antonio Brown is signed by another team, I'm taking you to lunch.
Okay.
Excellent.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
How's Burger King sound?
That sounds great to me.
I'll take you to a nice place, buddy. All right, Ian, before we let you go, well, this was rather interesting. The Chiefs Super Bowl championship parade in Kansas City apparently gave new meaning to the term party crasher. What went down yesterday?
Yeah, somebody was driving in his car and decided, I guess while also trying to get away from police, that he would join the Kansas City Chiefs victory parade. You certainly understand Kansas City Chiefs fans being excited, but you can't join a parade with your car. So he went on to the parade route. Police chased him for a few miles before finally cornering him and getting him out of the car with guns drawn. I posted something of this on Twitter yesterday, and a fan responded to me saying, you got to excuse us Chiefs fans. We're not used to this sort of thing. We didn't know how to behave. So apparently there was also meth found in the car. So this driver, had some issues before going toward the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade.
So do you think he was looking to do something drastic with that? Is that what maybe is being suspected here?
It doesn't appear so. Maybe it's just a really bad decision at the time. Maybe he thought he could elude police by joining into the parade route, like Harrison Ford putting on that St. Patty's Day hat and the fugitive, right? Mixing in, except you're in a car, buddy. Not going to quite blend in that same way. Hey, by the way, did you guys see that video of Patrick Mahomes throwing a pass to a fan from the parade bus?
No.
He threw it toward the crowd. I'll post it on Facebook. I'll send you guys a link. So he threw it into the crowd, and somebody caught it. But if you look toward the end of the video, somebody is running toward the ball, hoping to catch it, and runs right into a parking meter and is knocked down. The parking meter did not budge.
I thought you were going to say was Ricky Henderson making the reception, stealing it right from the hands of a kid, but this is a better story. I like those, like the guy trying to catch the subway and he slams right into a pole. Always going to get a good laugh out of all of us. And look, let's face it, man, if you're leading police on on a chase, why not end up in a victory parade? I mean, if you're going to get arrested, have it in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
In all seriousness, thankfully the police got them, and thankfully, because you think of the Raptors parade last year, when gunfire happened and stuff, and some terrorists. So thankfully, it just seems to be some idiot. And they caught him, and thankfully nobody got killed, and nobody got hurt. And it's just something we're kind of laughing about today when it could have been a lot more serious situation.
Yeah, thank God it's not a terrorism. It's just an idiot, as you point out. So big difference there for sure. Ian, you're the best, man. Always appreciate a few minutes. Can't wait to catch up on Monday. Good Lord, more baseball headlines will be coming down, I am sure. Thanks, my friend.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. Invest in raincoats and galoshes.
Yeah, thanks, man, very much. And check Ian at awfulannouncing.com and be sure to like Awful Announcing on Facebook. Ian and a bunch of talented writers cover a lot for you. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate you. Ian Casselberry with the Wise Guys, presented by D.C. Creasman Jewelers.